Peace to you and yours, wherever you may be. I like everybody else, have an opinion on this whole Gayle King, Kobe Bryant debacle. And I just wanted to share my little 2 cents on this deal. Personally, I think you got to look at the interview and understand what's going on based upon the signs in the interview. So Gayle asks Lisa Leslie asked her a question, and she tried anyway, to rope her into a tight box with the answer. She tried to put her in the crosshairs. How do you as a woman, you as a WNBA player, feel about this? I know that's your friend, but how do you feel about his past and what type of person she is? She wants to convict Kobe Bryant for something that he's never been convicted of, and that's something that she never put any energy into convicting him of while he was alive. Now that he's dead and gone, now she's got an agenda. And so Lisa answered it very safely and appropriately for her. Now Gayle comes back. Lisa says, that's not the guy that I know. Okay. She qualified that she knew Kobe Bryant. Her conversation or her answer, she wanted to make sure that it's understood that I know him well. And the man that I know does not have that personality. Now, she answered it in a way that showed respect not only for Kobe Bryant, but also for people who are truly, who have truly been victimized. And with respect for her as a woman and for her as, her profession, she did a very good job. Now Gayle not getting the answer that she wanted, thinking that Lisa Leslie is stupid. See, she thought that she could craft her question in a way where Lisa would be afraid to answer or jump on the bandwagon. But since Lisa answered the way that she answered, now Gayle wants to tell her, no, that's not your answer. Your answer is something else. Gayle says, but you wouldn't, you as his friend, you wouldn't know. Well, then if you know all that as an interviewer, why the hell are you asking me? Now, when people do this type of thing that Gayle King did, that Oprah's being accused of, only going after a certain group of people, in other words, black men. Oprah's not going after any of the accused folks who are abusing these white actresses and white women and whatnot. She's not going after them. Her friends in Hollywood. But she can go after, Russell Simmons and Gayle now going after Kobe Bryant. He's dead and gone. People do these types of things when they want to pledge allegiance to something. They have been prompted up to say or do this thing, or they maybe not even being prompted to do it, but they realize the call and response. Here's an opportunity. If I say this, I will endear myself to people who think a certain way. people who can affect my career or give me more benefit. And that's why she tried that. And Snoop Dogg called her on it. So now what are they doing? See, Snoop Dogg, he misread the situation because he thought that he could call her on it and maybe she would snap back or at least be quiet. But now you see who comes out in defense of Gayle King. And now it's not about Kobe Bryant's family. The sympathy is not for his wife and for his children who are suffering, and not for the families of the people, the other 7 people who died on the helicopter. Because that's a whole nother thing, man. Like, this ain't just about Kobe, man. It's not just about his daughter. What about these other lives? But these people will go after a man who, yes, he was accused. Yes, he was cheating on his wife. He did something he had no business doing. But there was not enough proof to say that he sexually assaulted anybody. And the poor young lady who made the accusation, she's clearly not well. Now, because, or at least at that time, she was not well. Now, that doesn't mean that she can't be victimized by somebody. But because of her behaviors, her case wasn't really a good case. And y'all can look that up. I'm not going to go into all of that because for me, the whole thing is just so sad. But please, I'm asking you. I know I probably won't get 25 views on this video. But I'm asking you, please. Don't get sucked into Gayle and Oprah trying to make you feel sorry for Gayle. What she did was a terrible thing. And they understood very well what Snoop Dogg meant when he said, "Come for you." They know Snoop Dogg wasn't talking about no violence against that woman. But he put himself in that position. He opened that door because now they want to act like they don't understand that language. I know you are detached from the community. I know you often in OJ territory. You know, OJ said, "I'm not black, I'm OJ." I know you off in that territory. But you understood very well what Snoop Dogg meant. He's talking about the community coming for you, scrutinizing you, taking their love away from you and criticizing you. He's warning you, stop. And you knew that. Don't play crazy. But you made a few phone calls on him. You made the phone calls to the people who can make him tighten up places. You know, you showed him who you was pledging allegiance to. Yeah. Folks, y'all need to be aware, be very aware. When you see people come out and do things they ain't got any business doing, you know, tearing somebody down, you know, They're doing that for a reason. And a lot of times, they're pledging allegiance, or they're making a job application. They're making a hidden job application. You know, they're showing, say, listen, I can play by the rules. I'm on the team. That's what Gayle was doing. And that's what Oprah is doing. Because at the end of the day, our faces ain't on that money. And our money ain't in our own banks. And if they can freeze the assets of a country, they can sure freeze the assets of a person. They can take you down with innuendo. They can take you down with lies. They can take you down with the whisper. If you don't believe me, you can ask Bill Cosby. It ain't that Bill is a great, no, I take that back. Bill is a great man. But that doesn't mean that he ain't flawed. If we were to take a look at our income and say what percentage of our income do we donate to the benefit of others? It doesn't have to be millions of dollars, but just from what you make, are you donating the way Bill and his wife were donating? And all those institutions that receive that money, they turn their back on Bill Cosby. And now they're trying to bleed his estate and bleed him down to nothing and run down his character and everything. But you ain't gonna do that with me. Because as far as I'm concerned, hey, yeah, Bill taught me a bunch of lessons, a bunch of good lessons in life. And I got nothing but respect for Bill. And the bad that whatever bad he has done, I'm learning in reverse. I'm not going to do those things. But the stuff that he did as a man and whatnot, with the Cosby Show and Fat Albert and all of his other works, always appearing, at least as an upright person and whatnot. They want to go down the line and take one out after another and assassinate their character when they are way worse. Way worse. Why am I going to be upset with Bill Cosby for what he did? And on any given day, you can go to Thomas Jefferson's museum. You probably got to pay to get in. And there's a room in Thomas Jefferson's museum where he was a pedophile. He had a room in his house where he abused a child. But he's supposed to be a great man. George Washington. It's rumored that George Washington died from pneumonia. You know what? I ain't gonna even say that because I ain't found all the references to it. But you look and see what Dick Gregory says about how George Washington died. Look it up. And I heard it 25 years ago, 30 years ago. Didn't hear it from Dick Gregory. Heard it from other sources. Go check it out. But I can give you two things that are absolutely true on George Washington, the so-called great man, the so-called father of our nation, and all of this. George Washington Carver had his teeth. His false teeth were made from the good teeth that he pulled out of slaves' mouths. He had them extracted out of the slaves' mouths, and that's how they made his teeth. Wasn't out of wood. He hunted a sister down who escaped from slavery from him for years and tried to get her to come back. And she was one of the slaves that he treated the best. She was the house slave. She traveled with him and his wife to Europe and places like that. She wasn't a field slave, but you know what? Freedom was more precious to her. Even in poverty, freedom was more precious to her than to be a slave in opulent conditions. And she said that. I forget the sister's name, but again, you can look this up. These two things are absolute facts about this so-called great man who you can go to his museum and walk all over and learn and you know, the good stuff that he did. And I'm sure he did some good things. So, Gayle, you despicable for what you're doing. You don't get to play the victim. You know, it's just sad.